Well, hello there, it's Danny, and today I'm going to be talking about which Marshall speaker I think is the best speaker. Now, this is all going to be my opinion with a little bit of fact laced in, so let me know in the comments what you think. One of the questions I get asked a lot is which is the loudest speaker. So let's get this one right out of the way. There's a technical answer and then there's the Danny Pops answer. So for portable speakers, you'll notice that the Tufton is way on up there, along with the Kilburn II. And then all the way down, you've got the Stockwell II, which is considered the quietest. A lot of people think it's actually pretty loud, but it's literally measured as the quietest speaker. So there's your proof right there. Now, in terms of home speakers, the loudest is going to be, of course, the Woburn III. And then way down there at 97 decibels is the Stanmore III, and then just a few decibels down is the Acton III. To me, the Acton III and the Stanmore sound about the same. But which speaker actually sounds the loudest to me? Which one feels the loudest when I'm sitting near it? Because I think that matters. Obviously, you're going to have the Woburn III up at the top because that thing is freaking loud. Especially the 2 series, which I don't have up here, but that one gets up to 110 decibels. But even to my ears, it doesn't sound as loud as the Woburn III does. Then you've got it followed by the Tufton, which is a very, very loud portable speaker. And as some people were able to tell from a previous video, the Tufton actually sounds louder and clearer than the Stanmore III, which is kind of crazy. Some of the portable speakers that I really don't recommend, the Kilburn II. Now, even though it's listed as like being like one of the loudest Marshall speakers, to me it sounds very boxy. Whatever they did with the speaker set inside of there, it sounds like there's a speaker inside of a box. That's the best way I can explain the sound. I just don't like the way it sounds. In terms of usability, it's got 20 hours of battery life. It's got a lot of good features, but it's old tech, and it's time for them to come out with a new Kilburn. The other portable speaker that I really, really don't recommend is the Stockwell II. It's just so quiet. At 80 decibels within 1 meter, it's just the thing, it's like it's whispering. You're never going to be able to get the volume up to where you feel like you can comfortably listen to it or get everything out of the music. It just, ugh. Like I'd be stepping up to the Emberton any day just for the loudness. Now the Emberton's bass is not as good as the Stockwell II's bass, just in terms of clarity, but the Stockwell II is so quiet it almost doesn't even matter because the Emberton just gets that much louder. So now let's talk about which speaker is the best speaker. So we'll start with Marshall's portable brand of speakers. Which one's the best sounding to me? That's the Tufton. The Tufton still sounds like the best speaker in the lineup. It's got a nice smooth bass to it. Something I don't like about the Tufton though is that it's the Bluetooth 5.0. It's getting old and the IP rating is kind of low on it, IPX2, which doesn't mean it could take some splashes, but you don't really want to get it very wet if you can avoid it. Other speakers that impress me quite a bit are the Emberton for the loudness and clarity of sound that it has, and then also the Willen. The Willen was a great achievement. It's a beautiful sounding speaker and it looks really cool. Now, in terms of best homeline speaker, you've got the Marshall Woburn. It's the best sounding speaker you can get out of the lineup. The Woburn II, even though it's like listed as like the loudest Woburn of all of them, to me it sounds muddy. It does not sound good. The only good thing about the Woburn II is that for the audio codecs, it can also use APX-T, which is a higher fidelity codec. But for most of you, you're going to end up using the SBC codec just by default. You won't even know it. It used to be that the Stanmore was like the best compromise of the speakers. That's what everyone was writing about. But really, the Acton III is almost just as loud as the Stanmore, and it pretty much sounds just as good. And it's about $100 less. So the Acton III is your best compromise homeline speaker nowadays. Which speaker is the best of the Marshall lineup in all total? The Woburn. The Woburn III, it's the best speaker. Of the large speakers, the Woburn is there's just really no competition. Now, if you get into the smaller speakers, I'm definitely going to say I have a partial fondness for the Emberton. I just think it's a wonderful speaker. But Technology keeps changing, other speaker manufacturers keep coming out with better speakers, so Marshall's got to keep their game up. Now, something to keep in mind for future speakers is definitely going to be the Bluetooth technology coming in them. If you're going to buy a speaker, a brand new speaker nowadays, and you're concerned about future tech, definitely make sure you're getting Bluetooth 5.2 and above, so that it'll be compatible with the new Bluetooth technology coming out later this year, supposedly. It's because the technology that's coming out should theoretically be able to allow like perfect stereo pairing. Currently, the Homeline series has Bluetooth 5.2, but it doesn't have any capacity right now to sync in between the speakers, which is unfortunate, but that's because they're relying on that new Bluetooth codec coming out, or the new Bluetooth protocol coming out, to be able to make sure they can speak to each other. So that's another discussion for another time. But now you know which Marshall speakers I think are the best. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.